Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pineapple Experience. I have Justine Fuston here with me today. Let's start by sharing who you are and what you do. We'll go from there.
Cool, yeah. So my name's Justine. Always fun to meet another Justine. That's like how we connected. So I am a nutritionist and health coach, and I help women eat healthy without dieting. It's kind of the process that we go through. So going through like undieting, getting rid of restriction, I mean how to live like a healthy life without having those diet barriers that we are taught that are good to have but aren't necessarily that great.
I hate diet culture. I just think it's so toxic. And like if someone tells me you can't have spaghetti, I just want to run in another direction. What do you like to tell your clients when they first get started with you as far as getting their mindset in a place where they can see results instead of focusing on like the physical piece of it?
So I think like getting over that mindset piece of like I am a better person when I'm smaller or when I lose weight is such a hard concept to grasp because it seems so right and it seems so normal. So really the first step is always breaking down like why do you feel like that? What has happened in your life that makes you feel like you need to be better? Why do you not feel sufficient in your life right now? So we really break down those barriers and figure out like maybe the first time you felt like you needed to lose weight, the first time you went on a diet, and then just acknowledging that moment in your life and then knowing that it's okay, like you're now in a safer space, like with me, and you don't have to feel like that or like scared again. So yeah, I would say that's the first step.
It's huge. What are some false beliefs that people have about the work that you do that you want to just banish right here and now?
Oh gosh. So I haven't been told this explicitly, but people basically beat around the bush that like I have the easiest job in the world, that I just tell people to eat vegetables, I just make meal plans, it's super easy, super simple. Of course you shouldn't have restriction. And I'm like, yeah, it seems like it would be common knowledge, but then like 50% of the population would be dieting at a time any given day of the year. And we wouldn't have such like an epidemic of health. So I would say that's probably the biggest one. Is people think like, oh, that's easy work. Like, of course, everyone knows that. I'm like, well, you don't know it until you live it, and people aren't living it. And I'm trying to help people live that.
You know, it's like having you in their corner helps them get from A to B. And yeah, it's so important. I know there's tons of people who use supplements and they swear by these weight loss supplements. What's your take on this?
Well, I always think about like when you see those like late night infomercials and you see a supplement, it's like I can't even think of any because I'm so like I don't watch TV. But you know, it'll tell you like, oh, do this and have healthy diet and exercise alongside to see best results. And it's like I think it's a good tool sometimes for people to be motivated to stick to something because they are paying like for the supplement. Same with the gym membership, you are paying for it, so it feels easier to stick to it. But all in all, those things aren't FDA approved, so you don't know what you're putting in your body, you don't know if they're healthy, and they are unnecessary, and it is just like a temporary crutch.
Yeah,
it's not going to be a long-term solution, which I know everyone's after, and it is appealing to have a temporary fix, but it's not going to be long lasting. Like ask yourself, how many diets have you been on in the last 20 years or whatever? It's probably more than you'd like to say.
Right. I'm glad you brought up the quick fix because well, like whenever I get into that mindset before summer, when it's swimsuit season, and I'm thinking I have to lose like 10 pounds super fast. Why is that unhealthy for people to do those crash moments versus sustainable that most people do?
Yeah, so the first one that most people don't think about is it totally crushes your self-esteem. Like if you're able to lose weight so quickly and then you get praise from it and everyone thinks you look so much better, but then you can't stick to it because it was a crash diet, then you feel like trash because you can't stick to it and you can't keep the weight off. And then the second one is it's really unhealthy for our bodies, like metabolically, to weight cycle like that, which means like to lose weight and to gain it continuously. That's why like yo-yo dieting isn't great, like diet hopping from keto to paleo to intermittent fasting. It's too much for our bodies to handle because we're going through those stages of gaining weight and losing weight too quickly. Those are the two biggest ones.
When someone's entering the weight loss journey, what's a realistic timeline for them to think, I should see results at this point, or is there such a thing?
I think it depends on the person, like how much extra weight you have that your body needs to lose or like could lose healthy. Determines how quickly you'll lose it. So I've had clients, like, we don't go through weight loss journeys together. We just go through like undieting journeys. But I would say typical would be like 2 pounds a month. It's like a healthy range when you're not like super restricting, and it is more sustainable, doing it a little more slower paced. And you almost don't notice it, which I think is why people don't like it as much, because it doesn't feel as rewarding as quickly. But it is more rewarding when you have that long-term weight loss that you don't have to worry about.
Right. I got involved with a network marketing company and a product, and I dropped 50 pounds fast, but I was like obsessed with it. Would not miss a day, would not like do anything but hit like, and I saw the results. I got the six pack, but when I was like at that point, I still wasn't happy. So I almost like fell into the, okay, I did that. I'm not happy with that either. So now what do I do? Do you do a lot with people?
Totally. That actually happened to me too, and was like a revelation for like, why can you have the body of your dreams and be so unhappy in that body? Like, shouldn't that solve all your problems? That makes no sense. So yeah, it happens to people all the time. Like, a lot of my clients have experienced that as well. And it is just the simple fact that traditional diets don't focus on the mindset piece. And if they do, it's usually afterwards, like, oh, learn to love your body or whatever. But if you don't learn how to love your body at the beginning stage, then the end stage isn't going to be as magnificent as you think it's going to be. And you're still going to have those underlying like confidence issues or self-worth issues that you haven't dealt with, because you're the same person, you have the same body, it's just changed a little bit. So overall, like, the overarching theme is like, nothing about you guys changed that much except like your pant size.
Right. Yeah. And it's so common for us to base our worth on the size of our clothes. So could you take us through a little bit of that mindset piece, like identifying different emotions or beliefs that people have that you've worked with that kind of form a pattern?
I would say, I guess worthiness is the first thing that comes to mind, is like, how do you feel about other people who have different weights? So like, how do you feel about a person who's obese? How do you feel about a person that's overweight? How do you feel about a person that's gained weight? And oftentimes we'll see them as certain adjectives like lazy, unmotivated, like less worthy, whatever comes to mind for you. And oftentimes if you think that about someone else when they gain weight, those are things you think of yourself constantly, and you might not be noticing that you're thinking those things. So really dialing down like those ways that you describe yourself, and then seeing if those are actually true. Usually they're not, because we're really hard on ourselves, and those aren't true at all. Or those are just like a weird reality that we've created that we try to live. So we're harder on ourselves, or we work harder, or whatever, or we just like to beat ourselves up. So that's a really good like exercise that you could do to see like, how do I view other people, and then how do I view myself?
Like for me in the wintertime, okay, here's where I was going. In the wintertime in Minnesota, it's not the easiest to get like fruits and veggies. And so I make an excuse for myself. Okay, I can't go to the farmer's market to get my fruits and veggies, and I don't want to go to the grocery store. Is it really that hard to switch to a healthier lifestyle, or is that excuse? It's almost like a fear of giving up shit, like the bad foods. It's scary.
Yeah, that's a good point. So there is a lot of comfort in like junk food or like processed food or foods that like you're scared to give up. That is really what it is. It's like you're so acclimated to eating those things. Like my childhood was full of eating like corn as my vegetable at dinner, and like Cheez-Its after dinner, and like processed sugary cereals. I actually went through this phase a couple months ago because of COVID, I wasn't able to see my family up in Canada, and they're in California. And so I was going through this phase for like a month or two of just eating Pringles every single day. And I was like, I don't even like Pringles, but like I can't stop eating them. But I was like, whatever, like I'm just gonna keep eating them. And then I realized a couple weeks in, I was like, oh, my family always has Pringles at the house, and they always eat Pringles, and we would always do that together. And I forgot, and it was just that nostalgic memory. And like, you know how you can get a memory from smelling a candle, and you're like, wow, that reminds me of something. The same thing happens with food. Is like you have those memories, and you might not be aware of why you're doing it, but there's totally a reason for why you have a hard time giving certain things up, and why I don't tell my clients to give certain things up for those kinds of reasons.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. That food for me would be like chocolate. That's the first one that comes to mind. Like if I'm sad or if I'm bored or I'm on my period, I'm like, I want all the chocolate that is available. And I indulge and I'm like, well, I don't feel good, so it's okay. You know, it's those excuses that
yeah, exactly. It's those habits. And also, so once you allow yourself to eat like all foods free will, that's like something I take my clients through, is like unconditional permission to eat food. So you eat whatever foods you crave, and you eat as much as you want for however long until the craving goes away. And then what happens is you start not craving those foods anymore. So like say your chocolate craving would go away after a couple months. Then what you can do is you can like choose to continue eating those foods that you crave, or like because you like the way they taste, or you crave them during whatever time, whatever the case is. Or you can choose like, oh, this food doesn't actually make me feel physically as good as I thought, or right now I realize it doesn't feel physically good, which happens a lot. So then you can choose like, oh, maybe I'll eat some of this and like a salad, or some of this and like hummus and chips, or whatever would be more healthy that you know makes your body feel better. And that's when you start stepping into like eating healthier, is when you choose like consciously what you want to do, but it's coming from a different place than it used to.
Yes. Love that. I love it.
I know, it's really fun. That's like my favorite part.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I would love to be able to be to the point where, like, if I eat that salad, I am going to feel so good. You know, instead of thinking, I'm not going to be filled off of a salad, you know, unless it's melted cheese and ranch dressing. But it seems like, you know, the people that you work with, that's okay. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And something like, because you mentioned like drenching your salad in like ranch and cheese. A lot of times when we eat like healthier foods, we don't focus on eating satisfying foods. So like if you have a salad with just vegetables, but you don't have any protein or any fat, like it's obviously not going to fill you out at all, because it's not satisfying. So that's something that diets ignore as well, is like you can feel satisfied from food, and it's actually beneficial for you because you don't have to eat as much to like hit the spot.
Right. Absolutely. So I've got one more question for you, and that is, what is one tangible thing that whoever is watching this can start doing today?
Ooh, I love this. Okay, so this is like one of the first steps I get my clients to do, and in the intuitive eating is a lot of the principles I follow with my clients. It's called changing the diet mentality. That's one of the principles. And so I like to call it like detoxing your environment from diet culture. And so what you do is, if you have like diet magazines in your house, or if you follow like Fitspo accounts, or anyone on Instagram or social media that makes you exposed to the diet culture or diet mentality, completely get rid of all of those from your site and mind, and just do it for a week and see how you feel. Like, I would write down in a journal, like, okay, this is how I feel about my body. This is how I feel when I look on Instagram and compare myself to other girls. And then do it for a week, completely get rid of all of it, and then write down and see how you feel, like compare the two. And I promise it'll be like the biggest difference ever. And you'll be like, okay, maybe there's something to like getting rid of this diet culture thing that Justine's right about.
Yes. And anyone who is watching this, and does this challenge, come back and tell us how it goes.
Yeah.
It's so, if we take little steps, you know, like little Lego bricks at a time, and start realizing like, oh my gosh, it's that quick result, right? So if we're going to get a quick result, we might as well get that quick result with our mindset and what we surround ourselves with. The environment is huge.
Yes.
Like if I worked around a bunch of like bikini models, like I don't know how that would go for me.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that is
And we
awesome.
think the comparison's good, like to keep us on track, but it's more detrimental than it is good. It's not good for your self-esteem. It doesn't help you move forward. Just get rid of it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with me. Again, here are her Justine's social media handles. And I'm going to have, if you have a Facebook group or an offer, do you have anything that you would like to share real quick? I'd love for anyone to be able to connect with you and
get the help. So I'm beta testing the group coaching program right now. I have 3 girls in there. And it's like a very discounted rate. I don't have it posted anywhere on social media. So if you watch this, or if you listen to my podcast is another place you can get a lot of free information, but those are the only people that know about it is you guys and people on my podcast. But if you would like to join in a group setting and like learn about everything I talk about, and get individual or like coaching from in a group setting, that's a really affordable way to do so. So if you're interested in that, I have that offer.
Perfect. And I'll grab the links from you too, and I'll put them in the description so that they can find you if that works.
This was such a pleasure.
Oh, same. It was so nice talking with you, and you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Justine. See ya.
Thank you. I hope you loved this week's episode of the Pineapple Experience, and make sure that before you leave, you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any episodes. I have an amazing lineup set up for the coming weeks. All topics are being covered, and there's no limits. So thanks again for being here, and make sure to drop your favorite takeaway in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys are loving. If there's a topic you want to hear, let me know that as well. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much.